Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Cuyahoga County Public Safety and Justice Affairs Committee meeting this Tuesday, July 25th. Roll call, please.
As a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Ms. Conwell. Ms. Conwell is absent. Mr. Kelly.
Here.
Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon is absent. Mr. Tuma.
Here.
You have a quorum.
And Ms. Simon's on her way. Is there public comment?
No, Mr. Chair, no one has signed in for public comment.
In our packets, we have the meeting minutes of the July 11th meeting. If they're in order, I'll accept the motion in a second.
Make the motion? Second.
All in discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Thank you. 2023-0216.
And I'd like the record to reflect that Ms. Simon is in attendance. Resolution 2023-0216, authorizing an amendment to a contract with Trinity Services Group, Incorporated for jail food services for the Cuyahoga County Jail System for the period June 15th, 2020 through June 14th, 2023, to extend the time period to September 30th, 2023, and for additional funds in the amount of $936,886 for a total not to exceed amount of $9,863,545.
Good afternoon. Chris Cossins, Sheriff's Department. We are requesting a short-term amendment with the Trinity contract. That's our food services in the jail. We're asking for $936,000 just to get us through the end of September.
And that takes us to September, you say?
Correct.
Questions? Yes, ma'am.
And then what? I guess just through the chair, just a clarification on the record, then after we get you, if this passes through the end of the September, then what's the plan?
Negotiations are being worked on right now between
Okay.
prosecutors, law, and our jail staff.
And you anticipate that will be resolved before this hopefully expires here?
I would hope so.
Yeah. Okay. If not, you'll be back, right?
I'll be back.
Okay.
It gives the new sheriff an opportunity to get involved, which is what we've been waiting for, to see what his direction and what he would like to do. And obviously, we're looking at doing better over there, and hopefully this gives them the breathing room to incorporate some changes. Anything?
Just one
Yes,
more
ma'am.
follow-up. So obviously, there's a lot of things we're hearing in response to the food in the jail, at least my constituent base. But what I want to impress upon them, and you can confirm that the state approves, this is all state certified with the food, right? There's oversight.
I would have to defer that to jail staff. I have the
Okay.
administrator here as well as the chief, if they want to speak to this.
And the second question, whoever can answer it, along those lines too, is that I understand there's a nutritionist at least on staff someplace at Trinity or someplace else. So there's people overlooking the food other than you. Hi. Hi.
Rhonda Gibson, Administrator of Corrections for the Sheriff's Department. Yes, there are menus that are approved by a dietitian/nutritionist. That's part of the contract with Trinity Services. And in addition to that, every year when we have a jail inspection, there are specific jail standards related to menus. The inspectors review those, and we have been compliant in that standard.
And when was last date inspection?
I believe it was last October,
Okay.
and we have another inspection in November.
7th.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Yes, sir. Through the chair, recently several of my colleagues and myself had an opportunity to try the food. And it was bland, but it wasn't horrific. One of the things I have to say I've heard is that the preparation may be some of the issue. The way the food is actually prepared might be some of the issue. And I do know that like my not to complain to the waiter, but my chicken cutlet was like a little cold in the middle. So, I can understand where that could happen with such large groups, but who actually does prepare the food, and what are the plans for that moving forward?
So current operations it's a hybrid process. Trinity really serves as the oversight of the kitchen, does the ordering of the product, etc. But the food is actually cooked by the county cooks with the assistance of MA workers, which is the number of MA workers is subject to change depending upon how many are available in the kitchen. So many people have a part in that process, and the goal with the negotiations is to get all of that under the vendor.
And then the other question I had is, I mean, the food was bland, and, you know, it is supposed to be for nutritional value, but I think somebody had mentioned on our trip there that the reason for that is because of health concerns, like as far as different seasonings and things. People may have allergies or things like that. Could you just go into that just a little bit?
Sure. The goal is typically to have a diet plan or menu that serves the greatest proportion of the inmates. There are other special diets as well, which are dictated either by the medical staff as far as a medical reason or maybe a religious accommodation. But for the most part, they try to make the food as basic as possible so that it can feed the greatest number of people and you have the least number of special diets that you can.
Okay, I appreciate that, and like I said, we had heard a lot of stories about the food and how, you know, horrific it was, and at least on our visit, and I know, you know, it's subject to change, but on our visit, you know, it was decent tasting food, so thank you.
And that segues into not just maybe Trinity being a problem, but the county facility being a problem, which is the importance of moving forward on a new jail where it'll be easier to put hot food on the tables for these folks. So a lot is involved in this, and hopefully with the direction of a new sheriff, we'll be on our way. And I assume you want this to move forward.
Would very much appreciate so.
I'm looking at timelines, so we're past, so. If everybody's okay with that, I would ask for a motion for Resolution 2023-0216 to the full council under second reading suspension.
So moved. Aye.
Thank you so much.
2023-0217.
Resolution 2023-0217, authorizing an amendment with various providers for real estate appraisal services in connection with the sheriff's sale for the period September 1st, 2017 through August 31st, 2021, to extend the time period to August 31st, 2026, and to modify various terms for the providers listed 1 through 21 on the agenda.
Good afternoon again, Chris Costin, Sheriff's Department. This is requesting approval to amend agreements with the appraisers through our civil division. These appraisers are contractor appraised properties that are at auction through sheriff's sale. The appraisers are paid through proceeds from the clerk of courts, the deposit on the proceeds through the sheriff's sale, so nothing from general fund dollars will be paying for these appraisers.
Questions?
Just for clarification, so these appraisers for properties that are
foreclosed
being
on.
foreclosed, so
Yes.
that's all under the sheriff to do that analysis, right? Okay.
Civil Department, yes.
And this has all gone out to bid for these appraisers?
The original was an RFQ.
RFQ.
From a few years ago. The way it was is back in famous years. They converted to POs, and now because of Infor, we'd convert them into a contract. So after this, this is a 3-year, and then after this, we're going to go out for another RFQ.
How's that going?
We haven't started that part yet.
What? Infor?
Infor?
Yeah.
You don't want my comments.
I know, it's rhetorical.
Not on public record.
Okay.
What? Who could have predicted that? Any further questions? You're within the timeline, it seems, no?
We would ask for suspension only because the appraiser's contracts end August 31st. You don't meet again until September.
If the committee's okay with that, I'll accept a motion for Resolution 2023-0217 1-7 to the full council under second reading suspension.
So moved.
Second.
And a second, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Miscellaneous business? Thank you.